Hey, I think we have everyone in from the waiting room.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you guys so much for your patience. Unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties, and our my computer just didn't want us to be great today. But we pushed through that, and we're gonna get things going because I know that you guys came here today ready and open to get some good food poured into you, and that is exactly what we have planned to do. So thank you once again for your patience, and thank you again for showing up and being open to learn and receive. Let's get going, ladies.
So my name is Acacia Barnett, and I am the program manager for Blackstone LaunchPad. And this is where you can go to join all of the program that we have with our Blackstone programming with our startup tree. You can use this QR code to be update on workshops, different mentorship opportunities, and much more. So just some friendly reminders to mute yourself throughout the presentation. Please keep your mind open, ready to learn. And also, if you have any feedback for us, you can drop it into the chat during the presentation. There will be some time for you to ask questions. So for the agenda today, we have debunking creativity myths. What is creativity? Benefits and importance of creativity, creativity versus innovation, identifying your type of creativity, and 5 steps to creative success and how to improve your creative muscle. And Lisa Geis is our presenter today. She's here to help all of you with individuals who are looking for personal and professional purpose to take yourself to the next level with breakthroughs.
Thank you so much, Acacia. The first thing that I want everyone to do is I want you to put a 1 in the chat if you believe that you receive, that you have a creative moment every day. Every single day you have a creative moment. I want you to put 1 in the chat. I want you to put 2 in the chat if you believe, if you say, Lisa, I am just not a creative person. I might get it here and there, maybe, but for the most part, creativity is just not my thing. Put a 1 in the chat if it is your thing and you get it every day, or put a 2 in the chat if you're like, not really. It might hit or miss me sometimes. I'm just not a creative person. So how do we have more 1s than we do 2s, or do we have more 2s than we do 1?
It seems pretty even. We have 1s and 2s. We do have a 1.5.
Okay, okay. All right.
It's
I
seeming
see
it's seeming
Gabriella
pretty
has a 2.
even.
Okay. I see some 2s. I see. Okay. All right. Well, today what we're going to do is we are going to debunk what you thought about creativity, what you think about how creative you are. And let me just tell you this. So let's start with the first myth. Creativity, by popular belief, creativity is not a talent. It is a skill that must be practiced. Who knew that? Who knew that creativity was not a talent, that it's a skill that must be practiced? Who knew that? Give me a yes or a no. Who knew that? Or better yet, who thought creativity was a talent? Did you think it was a talent? It wasn't something that you can practice? So let's get to debunking, okay? Here we go. What is creativity? Yeah. What is creativity? Creativity is the ability to generate unique ideas, solutions, or concepts. It requires unconventional thinking and being open to approaching problems from new perspectives. So again, it's creativity is the ability to generate unique ideas, solutions, and concepts. So for those of you who put 2, are you saying that you don't sometimes generate unique ideas, solutions, and concepts? Next. So let me just tell you the importance and the benefits of creativity. Next. Number one, it helps you solve problems more effectively. By preventing you from getting stuck in the same mundane patterns, creativity helps push you into a better solution practice. So for example, if you're on a job and you've been doing that same job over and over, you know it like the back of your hand, this is the perfect opportunity for you to start thinking, how can I do things different? How can I push the envelope? How can I inspire myself to want to create new ways of doing this job? I already know how to do it the way that they trained me, but how can I create new ways of doing it? Number two, it helps you think outside the box. Creativity allows you to look beyond obvious solutions. The out of the box thinking ability, which is essential in today's fast-paced, rapidly changing world, will make you highly desirable in your market. So let me say that again. Being someone who thinks outside of the box will help you be highly desirable in your market, whatever industry you're trying to go into. So that's why it's so important that we learn, if we feel like we are not creative, that we learn and keep ourselves open to our creative, I like to say, flow. Myth. Creativity and productivity work against each other. How many people thought or think that creativity and productivity work against each other? Put a 1, or you know what, let me go to a different number because we're going to have all these 1s and 2s. Put a 3 in the chat if you thought or think that creativity and productivity work against one another. Are we getting any 3s?
No 3s.
Good.
They're geniuses.
Good. That means everybody's on board. So let's move on to number 3. The benefits and importance of creativity. Number 3, that it can make you more productive. How do you say, Lisa? How does it make me more productive? A creative mindset keeps you engaged and focused on your tasks, which leads to increased productivity. It also allows you to create more efficient ways of doing things, resulting in getting more done in less time. To sum it all up, it takes the boredom out of your job. It makes it so that your job doesn't become mundane and that you keep it exciting, and you spark inspiration within yourself to produce at a, whether it be a fast-paced or more efficient way. Creativity helps you to do that. So it does add to your productivity. Number 4, it helps you learn and grow. Creativity positions you to approach learning differently, which helps you personally and professionally. Obtaining new skills will help you reach your full potential. So the more creative that you want, or the desire that you have to be creative, the more you'll seek out different things that you need to learn to aid to that creativity. That in itself, again, will give you additional skills, helping you to reach your full potential. Okay, before we move forward, does anyone have any questions about 1, 2, 3, or 4 before we move forward? I want to make sure that I am focusing in on you guys. If you guys have any questions that you want to ask so that we can address them as we go, instead of trying to remember them later on in the presentation or at the end. It just makes it a little easier to kind of point you to where you need to look to. So are there any questions in the chat? All right, that means you guys are getting it. Don't make me excited now. Don't get me excited because you're getting it. Next, number 5. For the benefits and importance of creativity, it helps you become a better communicator. Because you are creating new ideas, it also positions you to effectively hone your skills of conveying those ideas to your team, further enhancing your ability to communicate your ideas in a clear and engaging way. It isn't okay to just be creative. You have to be able to share that creativity with those that you work with. Whether you're an entrepreneur or career bound, you want to make sure that you're able to say, this is the idea that I came up with, guys, and this is what it looks like to me, and this is my vision for it. Do you have any input? How can you join in? Maybe there's some different areas that we can come together on. So you want to be able to convey your creative ideas so that others can then share in the excitement. It also helps them to grow, right? And in addition, not only helping them grow, you become a better communicator and seen as someone who has amazing ideas. Number 6, it prevents burnout. Creative activities are a great way to relax and de-stress. In addition, it provides a great way to clear your mind, express emotions, and cope with difficult feelings. Now, when we're talking about burnout, those who have been in their careers for quite some time, they may have felt at some point of a burnout about that particular job. This is where creativity, again, can inspire you and almost make it feel as if you are, you've just, walked into a new job, if you are diligently working at keeping it creative. The other way is it helps you it prevents you from having burnout from the standpoint of allowing you to decompress. If you've had a hard day at work, really identify a creative idea or a creative activity that you can engage in that will relax you from any day, any bad day that you might have. And it'll help you kind of cope with those emotions and feelings that you had from that day. So creativity, we may think about it just in one way, but it actually aids to our life. Next. Number 7, it can help build relationships and connections. When you lean into your creativity, you are noticed as someone with forward-thinking ideas. This positions you for team projects, helping you to connect more with others. I can recall when I used to work for one of the telecommunications companies, and we were in cubicles, and we had to sit at that cubicle every day, all day long. And I remember there came a point where I was just like, oh my gosh, if I don't get out of this cubicle, if I don't find some other way to engage in this job, I'm just going to lose it. And I volunteered for a project, and that was the best thing that I could have done, because I volunteered for that project. It gave me an opportunity to tap into my creativity, which is where I flourish. And it also allowed me to engage more with my colleagues, as opposed to just being in the cubicle by myself and just talking to customers who were yelling and hanging up on me. So it allowed me to really connect and build relationships with my colleagues. And from that point forward, I just kept volunteering and volunteering and volunteering for any project they had. I was raising my hand. I wanted to be a part of it so that I could connect with the people that I worked with. Number 8, it helps you find purpose and meaning. With a creative mindset approach to life, you are more likely to find purpose and meaning in everything you do. This one here, guys, it's really, really important. A lot of people, they don't understand the power of creativity and the power of tapping into your creativity. But when you allow yourself to be open to your creativity, you're not just saying, I'm going to be creative for this particular task. It's almost like you're opening up a portal within you that says, I'm open for different downloads. I'm open for different ways of looking at things. And when you start to open yourself up to different ways of looking at things, it doesn't just stay at work. It also goes over into your personal life. So things that you may have been, that may have offended you before, now you have a different perspective, or you have oh, you know what, that's just, the way they think, and I don't think that way. I'm open to receive. It completely opens you up. And once you're open, that's when you really start to connect to your purpose. You'll start to be what I call purpose-led in life. And once you tap into your purpose-led destiny, the feeling of happiness and the feeling of completeness, it overwhelms you sometimes, but you totally take a shift. It shifts you. Let me calm down. I don't want to go on that tangent about a purpose-led life, but I think you guys understand. All right, let's go on to question number 1 that we have. Reflect on a time when you benefited from creativity. Reflect on a time when you benefited from creativity. And if you can, jot it down in the chat and share it with us, a time when you benefited from creativity, whether it be you were at a job and they needed a solution to something and you came up with it. And because you came up with it, they gave you an award, they gave you a promotion, whatever the scenario is, just kind of briefly share it with us in the chat, so that we can kind of walk your journey with you. So we can walk your journey with you. All right. You can still go ahead and chat. You can still go ahead and write that in the chat. I'm gonna go to the next slide, but don't feel pressured to rush, just, because we do want to hear about it. Go on to the next. Creativity versus innovation. Creativity versus innovation. Next. One of the myths is that creativity and innovation are the same. Give me a 4 if you thought that creativity and innovation were the same thing. Give me a 4. Anyone, if anyone thought that. No judgments here, by the way. This is a judgment-free zone. So you can feel free to just go ahead and let us know exactly what you were thinking, because that means that you're open to learn. So put a 4 in the chat if you thought that someone thought they were interchangeable. Okay, 4. All right. I use them. Okay. Thank you guys so much for sharing. Well, let's see. Let's go forward and see what's really going on with innovation and creativity. Creativity, generating original ideas, emphasizing imagination and ideation. Innovation it focuses on applying the creative ideas in order to develop new or improved products, services, or processes. So, creativity and innovation, as you see, they are not the same thing. Creativity is where the idea or the original ideas are birthed, where the imagination and everything happens. Whereas innovation is that's where you kind of hand it off. I'm the creative, here you're the innovator. Here you go. You kind of hand it off and say, now, based on these creative ideas, you develop or improve the product, the service, the process. So they do work together. They definitely work together, but creativity has to come first. Creativity has to come first in order for innovation to happen. So let me give you some examples. Let's go to the next. Give you some examples. Creativity versus innovation. So creativity precedes innovation versus innovation follows creativity. Creativity can't be measured versus innovation can be measured. Creativity requires imagination versus innovation, which requires implementation. It requires implementation. So we're for imagination versus implementation. And using your imagination or original ideas to create versus introduction of new or enhanced services, goods, or processes. So this is, if you guys want a screenshot of this, just so that you can kind of further look for examples or make sure that when you are working, that you're naming the right action or the right task, then this is creativity versus innovation. So you need to know when you're in your creative realm versus when you're in your innovation realm. Okay? Do we have any comments or questions about that?
There's one.
Okay, go ahead.
It says, this makes me think of not every rectangle is a square, but every square is a rectangle. Innovation cannot happen without creativity, but creativity can occur without necessarily resulting in innovation, right? Question mark.
Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. That is absolutely right. And, you know, again, when you take the leap of stepping into your creative flow, you really want to jump into that without thinking, oh my gosh, I need to make sure that I do something with this. You don't always have to do something with it. I have I have several books actually of, I call my $1 billion books. I'm gonna be a billionaire one day, because I have ideas in there that once implemented, once I take, once I implement my innovation on them, then they are going to soar. So, it's okay to just stay in the creative and not say, because I created today, I have to implement today or tomorrow. It's okay to create today and implement next month. That's okay. It's okay. Because I don't want you in this space to get bogged down with, now I have to think, I can't just think about the what, I have to think about the how. A lot of people get stuck in the how, and the how can actually stunt your creativity sometimes. So I don't want that burden and that pressure on you. So you're absolutely correct. You nailed it. That is exactly the difference between creativity and innovation, and how they flow within each other. Question number 2, how does your creativity spark innovation? Does anybody want to come up and share how their creativity has sparked innovation? Raise your hand, and Acacia or Bailey will put you up. How does your creativity spark innovation? Now that we know the difference, if you think back, how has your creativity sparked innovation? Is anybody raising their hand?
No, they're a little
I
shy.
see a few
Okay.
people have unmuted. Does anybody want to unmute and share?
Hello, Lisa. I
Hi.
want to share my experience, maybe related with what you have talked between creativity and innovation.
Okay.
I used to teaching a writing course, composition course for first year students, and according to the book and the procedure, and after teaching some time, I feel bored with this kind of rigid steps. So I want to arouse my students' enthusiasm to write. So I created a book project and asked them to compile a mini book at the end of the whole academic year. And after several rounds of experiment and practice, I gradually developed my concept as a mini book, as a kind of multimodal project to frame the students to write narrative writings and create visual affordances for their book. And I find students are really into these products, the final visible product, what have they invested in their year-long writing, and they get something that students can share, can assess, and maybe they can share with their family members as a record of their learning experience. So I think maybe this is a kind of a spark of idea, and I gradually use that idea to try, maybe by trial and error, and gradually I think I now develop a framework for the course. So maybe this is a kind of related to what you talked about.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that concept. I love that idea. And I love the fact that because you found that the way that they wanted you to teach it was a little rigid, that you did exactly what we're talking about, which is you thought outside the box and you created a new idea and a new way of approaching your students so that they could actually receive a on the spot on the spot. I like to call it an on the spot throughout the year way of growing their creative muscle. And that right there is priceless. So they don't have any idea what you did for them in giving them that particular exercise. And I applaud you for, again, thinking outside the box and outside of what the curriculum that they had for you, and coming up with your own so that your students could receive exactly what they needed to receive and move forward with. So kudos to you. That is amazing. What is your name? Because I can't see your name.
Zening, who? Zening.
Okay, I think, okay, you've been with us for most of the
Yes.
workshops, right?
Yeah, critical thinking. Yeah,
yeah,
critical thinking.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you for remind me.
Yeah, I remember you are really diligent in finding new ways for your students. And again, I applaud you for that. But yeah, what you did is exactly what we're talking about. You stepped outside the box and you gave them a whole bunch of good food.
Yeah, and also the students' products surprise me. They give a lot of creative version of the book, although the task is the same, but they did it very differently and a very I think surpassed my expectation.
Wow, that's amazing. That's so beautiful. Oh my goodness. You know, again, they don't know what you did for their creative muscle, but I really hope that they have taken that particular exercise and they're continuing to pursue and write things out and create things, because you gave them a true gift. If no one had told you, I want to tell you now, you gave them a wonderful gift.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Okay, well, we're going to move on. Creativity types. Now, this is where I really need everyone, for all of the people who put twos, that they didn't feel that they were creative, or they don't receive, creativity is a hit or miss for them. It's not something that they experience on a daily basis. I just want you to definitely leave an open mind. The information I'm getting ready to give you, for those who say that they do experience creativity every day, I want you to leave an open mind of what I'm getting ready to add to your creativity. So I want you guys to pay attention to the creativity types, and you're going to share what your type is. So here we go. Next. I am not a creative person, nor have I ever been. We've talked about that, right? All right, so let's identify your type of creativity. Next. There are 4 types of creativity. Woohoo! There's the deliberate and cognitive creativity type. And that's when you're connecting stored information in your brain and it happens in the conscious mind. Now, for the deliberate and cognitive creativity type, it's basically you're having an already formed body of knowledge, and you're taking existing information and seeing it in new and innovative ways. That's the deliberate and cognitive creativity type, okay? Now, kind of piggybacking on our previous workshop, leadership, for those of you who are going after your different leadership types, I just wanted to share this. From a leadership perspective, it is essential to provide this individual with research and learning opportunity time to develop and create solutions. So if you have someone on your team, whether you're an entrepreneur, career bound, you're a supervisor, a manager, and you get someone whose creativity type is deliberate and cognitive, it's very important that you allow those individuals to do projects that are research or learning bound, and that they have opportunity and time to develop a creative solution. So they need a little more time to create a creative solution. But this is type number 1, deliberate and cognitive, okay? Does anyone identify with deliberate and cognitive? Does that sound like you right now? That you're deliberate and cognitive? You've had those types of okay. So if you were two originally, is it possible that if you're a deliberate and cognitive creative, then you actually do exercise creativity daily, right? You just didn't know that that's what you were doing. So let's go on to the second one, which is deliberate and emotional. Deliberate and emotional. Sitting quietly and reflecting, or quick bursts of sudden realizations or insight into a problem or idea. That's what is deliberate and emotional creativity. So we consider this, and we see this as like a better description is like an aha moment. It's considered an aha moment, but they actually come from the time spent pondering and asking questions versus research and study. Let me say that again. The aha moments come from time pondering and asking questions versus research and study. Now, from a leadership perspective, you give these individuals time to think, offer insight, but do not expect an immediate solution because they need time for the aha moment, right? So, for those of you in the chat, who would consider themselves a deliberate and emotional creative? Who would consider themselves deliberate and emotional? You tend to get aha moments. You have to ponder, ask questions. I see you, Delana. Ask questions. Research and study, that's not your thing. You don't jump into your creative flow then. You jump into your creative flow after you've pondered and asked questions, okay? The third is spontaneous and cognitive. They use parts of the brain where dopamine is stored and operates outside of conscious awareness, okay? The individuals who fall in this category require time to do something else while their subconscious keeps working on the problem. So from a leadership perspective, allow this individual to develop stages of creativity over time. So this particular individual, they require time to do something else. So they need to do a different activity than focus on the problem. They'll do another activity and the creativity will start to come and flow through them as they're doing the other activity. So who is number 3? Who is a spontaneous and cognitive creative? Who is a spontaneous and cognitive creative? Put a number, yeah, put a 4. Put a 4 if you are. I see you. Okay, okay. See, I told you, you guys are actually experiencing creativity every day. I told you. All right. And last but not least, it's our spontaneous and emotional. That's something you either have or you don't have. You either have it or you don't. Individuals who experience powerful and emotional creative moments, mimicking like an epiphany, a high level of skill is often required with the spontaneous and emotional. From a leadership perspective, this individual needs an environment that helps hone their skill and collect their creative ideas. So this particular person, it's more like mimicking or an epiphany for them when they're dealing with their creative flow. So that's spontaneous and emotional. It's almost like some people will see it like as a spirit, a spiritual or emotional feeling. It can move someone or shift them to that degree. But yeah, you definitely, it's something that you mimic, but you have to have a high skill level at it. So I'm going to give you some examples. So let's look at examples of the 4 types of creativity. But before we do, does anyone have a question on where they just discovered they were regarding the 4 types of creativity? Does anyone have a question? Just raise your hand. Or you can just unmute yourself.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So what if you feel like you rotate around the board types? Like, you know, because sometimes I'm like, oh, I can see myself absolutely in this space, or I'm working on another project and I'm like, oh, I need a little bit more time to like work on things. Is it possible to like rotate around the four types, or is there typically something that like we resonate more with?
It's absolutely possible to rotate. I'm a rotator. So it's absolutely possible to rotate, but there is one that I definitely resonate with, and I tend to resonate. I don't know if you guys have heard me say this. I've said it on every workshop. Receiving downloads. The downloads are the aha moments. So that I lean more towards deliberate and emotional. The aha where or excuse me, the spontaneous and cognitive as well for me, because I'll get downloads during while I'm doing other things. I'll get downloads for a problem that I've had and that needed a solution. So it's definitely possible to rotate. And I would think that the majority of us probably do rotate, but there is a dominant. I'll say there's one that's more dominant for you. It's just a matter of figuring out which one you resonate with more. One that just kind of comes easy and natural to you. You don't really have to do much. You just know that I call it how you tick. This is how you tick. For example, if you are deliberate and cognitive, then you may be someone who says, I cannot even think about this problem until I've researched and decided on the information and processed the information. And well, then that means that you gravitate more to that particular creativity style or type. But that doesn't mean that that's all who you are. You could be everyone, all of them. It's just a matter of when they're coming out. Does that make sense? Uh-oh, did I lose her?
No, you're good. I couldn't find the button. Thank you. Yeah, that is very helpful and understandable. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so the 4 types of creativity. I want to give you examples of what it looks like. I want you to really be able to connect so that you can see which type of creativity is your dominant and see which ones you kind of, like we just discussed, you kind of go around and tap into here and there. So the deliberate and cognitive, of course, we know that that's knowledge-based, right? So the types of people who would more than likely be a deliberate and cognitive would be like lawyers, doctors, researchers, accountants, because they're people who have to already have some sense of knowledge about something before they can make any changes or reviews or seeing it in a different way, right? And then the deliberate and emotional, they're more reflection based. So it's like the aha moment. So like, for example, when you have a breakup with someone, you may be hurt in the moment about the breakup, but then once the hurt and the anger or what have you goes away, 9 times out of 10, about 3 weeks later or so, you're like, you know what? Yeah, that relationship really wasn't the best. You have that, whoa, yeah, he actually did me a favor or she did me a favor, right? So it's like that aha reflection, or I could have done this better, right? And another example would be if you didn't get a job that you applied for, after you're done and you didn't get the job, what do? We instantly say, okay, how come I didn't get it? What could I have done better? What skills do I need to acquire in order to be ready for this position next time? Because I'm going to reapply again. So, we go back and we reflect on the reasons why we didn't get it and how we can make things better for ourselves and how we can better ourselves in order to get it the next time. Another example would be bankruptcy. And these are just, I just tried to pull random examples, but like bankruptcy, if someone goes through a bankruptcy, it might feel like the end of the world at the time. Like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And then you do it and you're thinking, I won't let this happen again. I'll now that I have gone through bankruptcy, what I do is I keep a notebook with me. I write down everything I spend so that I can keep diligent track of how much money is going out, how much is coming in. so that I don't get myself in trouble about that again. So you reflect on how to be better, how to do better. For spontaneous and cognitive creativity, that would be, since you don't focus on the problem, right? You're doing another activity, you're walking away from the problem. So that would be walking. Like if you're walking, you take a long walk, and then next thing you know, the creativity starts to come, the ideas start to come. You clean. While you're cleaning, next thing you know, you have all these ideas. Driving, shopping. So it's doing some other activity, not focusing on the problem. And during those activities, that's when the creativity starts to flow and the new ideas come. Now for spontaneous and emotional, that's your emotional power base, right? So that those are for people like artists, musicians, actors, actresses. So basically that's someone who it's spontaneous, but it's also skilled. Remember, we talked about that. Anna says, as an accountant, I feel, oops, sorry, it went off the screen. Acacia, can you read what Anna said, please?
As an accountant, I feel my creativity may not be as strong because my focus is on precision and finding accurate solutions quickly.
Precision and finding accuracy. Okay. So Anna, are you saying that you feel like you sometimes need more time to actually tap into your creative flow?
Yes,
As opposed to trying to hurry up and get to the answer or get to the solution?
yes, it takes me more time all the time. I had to really think about it.
Okay,
Although
okay.
I use it, I just win a pitch contest because I used my creativity, but I was very, very precise what I did to in order to get that prize. I did win
Okay.
it, but it took me 3 days to planning what I did to give to the judges.
Okay. Now, do you feel the 3 days was not long enough?
Um, when I put together what I did, I still needed to put more things, and I thought, I think that's enough. So it was enough for 3 days. I was wondering, but the planning took me a week because I had to order things to make it to put it together.
Uh-huh.
But I won. I mean, I was just I really was surprised that I won because my creativity get really like, okay, how this way, how that way. So it took me a long time to think how to look presentable per se. I mean,
Yeah.
I know I have a year's experience looking at meetings, how people do it, and I'm like, but I still sometimes I'm thinking, okay, I need to polish myself. So,
So I would say for you, it sounds like the time frame, you thought the time frame was okay, but it sounds, what I'm hearing you say, and correct me if I'm wrong, what I'm hearing you say is that even though the time frame may have been okay, there was still things that you would have liked to have done, or you would have liked more time to actually polish things up a little more. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
yes, yes.
Okay.
But
Okay.
as an accountant, we don't rush. We never rush because we wanted to
Yeah.
get everything right.
Yeah. So basically, they were asking you to switch from your deliberate and cognitive creativity mindset
Yeah,
to, they needed you to either jump into the spontaneous and cognitive or the deliberate and emotional. And you were like, hold on, wait a minute. I like to stay in the deliberate and cognitive. So
yes,
what I would,
yes,
what, based on that, just think about this. This is a jewel here. Think about it. Because it sounds to me like your strong point is your deliberate and cognitive creativity. The thing for you to do now that you've had that experience and you felt the way you felt about the experience, and you were able to reflect on, I wish I had more time, right? So that would
yes,
tell me that working on your spontaneous cognitive creativity muscle, as well as your deliberate and emotional cognitive creativity muscle, would really be beneficial for you. And it would actually set you up so that when, whether it be a contest or just your regular everyday work, you now have those other two great creative flows to add to what you already do. Does that make sense?
yes, it does.
So now we've just identified for you, deliberate and cognitive is your dominant. And what you need to work on is spontaneous and cognitive, and deliberate and emotional. Once you allow yourself to be open to those two others and tap into your creative flow, then it'll become easier and easier every time that you go into those other areas. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Do you have
Thank
any
you.
other questions? You're welcome. You're welcome.
No.
Okay. Let's see. So we did do the spontaneous and emotional. Does anyone else have any questions about the 4 types of creativity? Do they want to share that they've just identified their creativity style or type, and maybe they're dominant, and then one that they need to work on possibly? Bailey. Do we have any hands up, Acacia?
I don't see any.
Okay, so let's move on to the next. Question number 3. How does different types of creativity enhance your own creative process? So now that you know that there are 4 types of creativity, how do you think these different types can enhance your creative process? How do you think these will enhance your creative process? And that's regardless of if you now have identified your dominant, and then identified some of the others that you do experience. And there may be one that you would love to experience more that you didn't realize you were actually experiencing. So either way, does anyone want to share? Want to unmute and share? Don't be shy, you guys. This is a time for us to talk and chat about your journey in learning and growing, right? Because we're all learning and growing together. Anyone? No? Okay. Well, we're going to move on then. If no one has any questions or anything or want to share. Okay, your creativity process for success. What does Sabrina say? Yeah. What does Sabrina say? It went off the screen.
Oh my God, that part's not important.
Mm.
We were just going back to the
Oh,
numbers.
you're chatting in the chat. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, going back to the numbers game, I was saying that I was needing to submit like a financial report,
Mhm.
and my total just was not aligning to what it was supposed to be representing.
Okay.
And that was really frustrating. And so I just kind of took a step back and I said, you know what, let me take a different look at this. And so I looked in a few other areas, and then I looked at the amounts, and then I saw that there was 3 different charges that added up to the total amount that I was missing. And so instead of looking for what I thought was, a specific total, a one charge, if you will, it was actually broken up for some reason into like multiple charges. And so then I was able to balance out accordingly. But had I not kind of just looked at it in a different way, then I might not have found that money that I was initially missing. And so I was just saying initially was that maybe, we're using these skills, but probably not identifying it as such. And so that's just the initial comment that I threw in the chat.
Well, yeah, and just based on what you said, it sounds like what would really benefit you going forward, because especially when you're dealing with numbers, or for me, it's numbers and if I have to read a lot. But when we're using our deliberate and cognitive creativity, which is, the stored knowledge and retrieving from that in addition to research, right? Like you said, you were wondering why the numbers weren't adding up. Well, spontaneous and cognitive creativity, that's where you can just say, let me just stop, let me take a walk, come back, look at it from a different perspective. So that's how you can actually build that particular muscle. the spontaneous and cognitive muscle for you, so that they can work in tandem. You can actually, you know, take a walk, go clean, or if you're at work, you know, just go maybe sit in the break room for a minute, grab a drink of water or something like that to kind of give your brain time to just process, so that when you come back to whatever the numbers are in front of you, it's like a clean slate. So that's one way that you could actually build that particular muscle for future reference. Okay, I hope that helps. All right, so your creativity process for success, let's check it out. So step 1, preparation. So this is how you should be approaching your creativity. Preparation. So through that preparation, you want to gather information and materials. So what this is going to do is this is going to show you how to kind of implement all 4, right? So you're going to gather information and materials. You're going to identify sources of inspiration, and then acquire knowledge about the project or issue. So that's step 1, preparation. So this is how we're going to pretty much bring in all 4 types. The next, step 2, the incubate. You're going to incubate. You're going to allow the information gathered to marinate in your mind. Next, take your focus off of the problem and allow your mind to rest. This makes room for the conscious and unconscious mind to engage and produce solutions, okay? Next, step 3, illumination, which is the aha moment. You're going to stay prepared for your aha moment. You're just going to stay prepared for it. So the aha moment could be just a natural download for you, or it could be where you are walking, cleaning, or doing something else. But what I want you to do is to keep a notebook with you at all times. And this is something that I tell my clients to do anyway, just in life, because you never know when an idea is going to hit you, and you want to make sure that you're prepared to write it down. I get ideas typically around 3:45 to 4 a.m. in the morning. And so I have a notebook by my bed so that I can write. I'm half asleep writing so that I can write it down, because I know if I don't do it in that moment, if I wait until the morning when I actually wake up, I'm not going to remember what it was. So this is you staying ready for your aha moment. Next, step 4 is evaluate. Once you are past that aha moment, then you're going to reflect on the new idea. You're going to reflect on the new idea, right? So we're tapping into, again, we're going to be tapping into all 4 of these. You're going to reflect on that new idea. You're going to criticize all information. You know, we have to weed through the information to make sure that this information is actually can be used towards this particular problem. Then you're going to assess if they are viable ideas and team worthy. So you're going to assess, like, is this something I can take back to the team and share with them? Or is this just an idea that maybe needs to be talked about later? And then after that, you give them context and structure. So you're going to give the idea context and structure at that point. Next, step 5 is the implementation. So we're gradually moving, right? Where are we moving to? We're moving into innovation. So the ideas go from thought to action. It goes from map to concrete. And then you're going to work. So that's how you can actually build that muscle of using all 4 of the creative types, by using these 5 steps. Acacia, can you go back to step 1? I want to make sure they have an opportunity to screenshot the steps. So screenshot step 1, which is preparation. Next. Step 2, which is incubate. Step 3, which is the aha moment. Step 4, which is evaluate. and step 5, which is the implementation. And then, all right, go to the next slide. So at a glance, this is what you'll see. 5 steps to the creative process for success is preparation, incubation, illumination, evaluation, and implementation. Anybody have any questions? Okay, question number 4. Share a personal experience or anecdote of developing creativity. Who wants to share a personal experience with us of developing creativity? Anyone? You guys are real shy today. You can share a personal experience, or if you have any questions or comments about the steps, you can also come up and let us know about that, and we can chat about that. Any hands up or any unmuting? No?
I don't see any, no.
You don't see anything? Okay, well, let's go on to the next. How to improve your creative muscle. Next. How to improve your creativity. 5 ways to stretch the creative muscle. 1, screenshot this, guys. 1, give your creativity permission to flow freely. That means open yourself up, write down creative ideas without judging those ideas. Just write them. Just write them. You can go back and critique them later, but just write them, okay? I just want you to literally throw up on the paper. Just write, idea after idea after idea. Don't say this isn't good, this is stupid, nobody's gonna like it. Don't talk to yourself at all. Just let the creativity flow. Just let it flow. Number 2, quantity over quality. So again, don't question if it's good. Perfection does not have a home here, okay? Perfection doesn't live here. We're just writing. We want quantity. We want 100 ideas on a paper. We don't want 5 that you dissected and scratched out. No, we want 100, because the more ideas that you create, the more you're telling your creative muscle, it's okay. I give you permission. Go ahead and flow. I embrace you. I appreciate you. Give me what you got, right? Number 3, look for inspiration. Sometimes I will go out into my backyard and just sit on the grass and just look around, and I'll look at the birds and see what their lives are like, the little activities they do during the day. I'm like, what's going on? What are you guys up to? What are you talking about over there? You know, and I'll do that just to get inspiration, because for me, there's a lot of birds in my backyard, unfortunately, because we put these trees up and we didn't think that the trees would attract the birds, but they do. So now they live in the trees. But I get a kick out of actually watching the birds, because they're so free. They're so free. They just fly, they talk, they run, they play, they do all sorts of things. And so, and I enjoy everything they do out there, with the exception of, you know, when they use the bathroom and then they try to drink the water out of my pool. That's a no. So, but other than that, I enjoy watching them, and they have given me so much inspiration to think about life and being able to be free and fly like a bird. Wow. Imagine where you could go if we could just fly like birds, if we didn't have any limits on ourselves, right? So again, don't think about perfection. Allow your creativity to flow, give it permission to flow, look for inspiration around you, and then collaborate and learn. Collaborate with others, because when you engage with other people, you'll be amazed at who can inspire you or give you a whole different perspective on different situations that you were thinking, oh, wow, I never thought of that. Well, this person just introduced you to something, and it will help you learn. It'll help you learn how to open up and be free with your creativity. And then 5, try new ideas daily. I have a book I have a book that I purchased about 5 years ago, and it's titled Try Something New Every Day. So what I did, instead of trying something new every day, I actually write down a new idea every day in that particular book. So every day, push yourself to come up with something new every single day. If you do it daily, what do they say? How to establish a habit, 21 days, right? So for 21 days, the next 21 days, I challenge all of you to come up with new ideas every day and tell me that your creative muscle won't be stronger once you do that. I'm telling you. You'll say, I'm all four of my dominants. Okay, next. Creativity is inventing, experimenting, growing, taking risks, breaking rules, making mistakes, and having fun. Mary Lou Cook. Next. Meet our team, Lauren Dunning, Bailey Johnson, Acacia Barnett, and myself, Lisa Geis. Thank you for being here. We have some other things in store for you guys. Just a moment. The next workshop will be resume and cover letter workshops. So that will be on Tuesday, July 9th from 3 to 4:30 p.m. That will also be virtual. So go ahead and get yourself registered for that today. We can all use an opportunity for someone to actually take a look at our resumes and tell us how we can improve them and enhance them so that we are positioned to, again, get the job, start the business, whatever it is that you desire, so that we're positioned to take advantage of those opportunities when they come along. Like they say, stay ready so you don't have to get ready, right? I want to thank you, all of you, once again for joining part 1 of our innovation series. Through this series, we've gone through a workshop on growth mindset, critical thinking, leadership, and today's workshop, creativity. And all of these can be found on YouTube at that YouTube link. For those, if you've missed any, or if you want to go back and review, if you just, sometimes when you review things, you see it in a different way, you're able to obtain it differently. So by all means, go on YouTube and take a look at all the workshops. We have truly appreciated each and every one of you. We are diligent and we are passionate about growing the Blackstone LaunchPad family and community. So if you haven't already done so, go on and register in Startup Tree, become a part of the community. And I am looking forward to one-on-one mentoring with you, as well as group mentoring with you when we start back up in the fall. But until then, practice each and every one of these, because when we get back, we're going to hit the ground running, and I want you running with me. I don't want you running behind me. Okay, so thank you once again. If anybody has any questions, they want to share anything, let me know. I'm here to listen. Acacia?
They said thank you.
Well.
Thank you.
you. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, you guys are so nice. Thank you. I have really, really, truly enjoyed you. I really have. For every workshop, I've enjoyed all of you.